Today is Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019. It's 10:22 a.m. and I'm calling the DHHS Crisis Hotline for about the umpteenth time. Wish me some luck because I haven't had any for the last 3 months.
A 24-hour hotline available 7 days a week for reports of the suspected abuse, neglect, or exploitation of children and vulnerable adults. If you are calling about a life-threatening emergency, please hang up now and call 911. To fax your 3200 form or police report, send to 616-977-1158. If you are a law enforcement officer, press 3 now. Please note that your call may be recorded for quality assurance purposes. To continue in English, press 1. Para continuar en español, oprima el número 2. If you are a mandated reporter or other reporter of the abuse, neglect, or exploitation of a child or vulnerable adult, please stay on the line and your call will be answered in the order it was received. If you are calling to learn the status of an existing case, or if you are calling to contact a caseworker, please hang up now and contact your local department's office. To find the contact information for your local office, please go to the State of Michigan's website for our department. If you have questions about other programs or services, please hang up and call the customer service hotline at 1-855-275-6424. Again, that number is 1-855-275-6424. To repeat these options, press 4. If you are not calling to report abuse or neglect, please hang up now. Heavy call volume requires that this line be used only for its purpose, the protection of children and vulnerable adults, many of whom need immediate attention. Thank you for your cooperation with this serious and time-sensitive mission.
Please hold while we transfer your call.
Your telephone call may be monitored for quality assurance.
More information is available at michigan.gov/FA-outbreak.
Central Intake, this is Emily. Are you calling to report abuse or neglect?
Hi, Emily. Yes, I am.
Okay. Is it regarding a child or a vulnerable adult?
An adult.
Okay. And what county does the adult live in?
Lapeer.
Okay. And are you a mandated reporter?
No, it's me. I'm the victim.
Oh, okay. And what's your name? And can you spell your last name, please?
111751.
A phone number for you?
I don't have a good phone number, ma'am. I'm using someone else's phone. It's a Skype phone, but if you want to note it, I have limited access to it. My best resource is email.
Okay.
But I'll give you both because I'm in crisis, ma'am, and I am getting, this is I called on January 10th, 19. I talked to Marita, and I bet her that my call would go no place. I called on January 17th, 2019. I talked to Darcy, and I told her this call would go no place. And today I'm telling you, Emily, I guarantee you today is January 22nd, 2019, and this call is going to go no place. And under the Constitution, I have the right to prosecute or defend my suit either on my own as a proper person or an attorney, and I'm not being given that right to defend myself.
Okay. Well, all I can do is take your information and
no problem. It's the same thing. This has been going on for the last 3 months because we go round and round. I go through give you all the information, and it goes nowhere. And it's because I'm being sabotaged.
Okay. Okay. Well, all I can tell you is certainly, we want to look out for.
No, you do not. No, you do not, ma'am. It's not the truth. It's not. Okay. It's absolutely impossible. You can say that with.
So I can either take your information, or we can go back and forth.
No, no problem. No problem.
You want to go ahead and process and go ahead with the information then?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. So do you want to give me some contact information, either a phone number or email
address?
Yeah,
my Skype number that's intermittent use is 810.
Okay.
And my email address is
Gmail. And there were 3 sevens, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And what's your address?
Am I talking to?
What was the city?
I'm sorry, Almont, A-L-M-O-N-T.
A-L, okay.
Is this a Michigan organization that I'm talking to? Are you in Michigan, or is this
No, this is the state of Michigan.
Okay, that's okay.
That you're speaking to.
Okay, great.
Yep. And does anybody else live in the home with you, Richard?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then do you have any specific diagnosis that makes you particularly vulnerable? Do you have any physical disabilities or cognitive disabilities?
No, I'm disabled, ma'am.
Mental health?
No, I'm disabled.
Okay, you're disabled. How are you disabled, though?
I'm disabled. I've got diabetes. I've got high blood pressure. I've got disc damage. I've got neuropathy. I have ankylosing spondylitis.
And what is that exactly?
It's a disorder, hard to explain. And I also have rheumatoid arthritis.
Okay, how does that the other diagnosis? How does that affect you though?
It's all the same. I can't walk, ma'am.
Okay. Well, and that's kind of how what I'm wondering. I just kind of wanted to know how it physically is affecting you. So are you in
Right.
a wheelchair?
No, I use a cane. I can't use a wheelchair because my house is destroyed and I'm living in one room.
Okay. So go ahead and tell me how it is that you feel like you're being abused or neglected.
It's gross negligence. First of all, just to prove my point is I have a problem. I'm disabled. I've had a stroke, and when I get stressed out, I get nervous, and it's very hard for me to control myself. I'm stuck in a uninhabitable mobile home without running water and ability to get food, and Lapeer DHHS, Adult Protective Services, the Almont Police know all about it, and I'm just being ignored. My issues are complex. I can't resolved. The DHHS in January 2017 they did an improper install, a water heater that failed twice within months of install. I legally am not responsible for that installation. I've sent my documentation to everyone possible. I have no transportation. I have no way of getting around, so I'm limited, and I'm not being given reasonable accommodations to present my evidence. I have the right to defend or prosecute my suit, but I'm not being given that right. I'm just being ignored. They had a crony that charged 37% higher than going rates, and you have to understand this was not a competitive bid, and they're ignoring it. They choose a chosen vendor. There was only one vendor that they had. This plumber was going out of business at the same time. He was unqualified. He did an improper install, did use the wrong materials, and the result.
So,
What happened is I never took responsibility for the installation. It's DHH's responsibility, and they're ignoring the responsibility. I have witnesses, I have proof, and I'm just being ignored. I'm not being given the right to defend myself. I am not responsible for the water heater. It leaked twice. This caused $15,000 worth of damage. When I called them last November to tell them for the second time to bring their plumber back to fix it, they ignored me, and I've been without running water ever since. And I've been struggling like an animal, and I've tried to represent myself. I've filed a claim with the Department of Civil Rights a year and a half ago, and in August of 2018, I asked my civil rights worker Charles Archie to forward a $15,000 court of claims lawsuit against Lapeer DHHS to compensate me so I could get my home fixed. He ignored to do it. So now I'm stuck. And what they've done, my house is I went to on the 7th of January. I went to a hearing that I talked to the DHHS supervisor Rhonda Lansing, and she said that if I went to the hearing, we would discuss my water heater issue and try to get it resolved. They damaged my house, and it's $15,000 worth of damage. That's what it takes to get me whole. And they're just ignoring what they're doing is they're ignoring me until I die. When I went to the hearing, the judge refused it. The judge refused my witnesses. I'm entitled to bring witnesses. You have to understand that. She refused to allow my witnesses. I brought remote witnesses using my video cam. I had 32 people online ready to witness my hearing, including one master plumber. And the judge refused my witnesses. She refused to discuss my water heater, refused to discuss any of my evidence that I presented, refused to allow me to present the evidence that I brought with me. She refused to allow me to record in a public building. And when she denied all my requests for compensation, I got upset, and I walked into the lobby, and a Lapeer sheriff followed me, a female followed me, and she said, "Get up, get out, and go home. We're watching you." And I said, "I feel sick." And she said the judge filed a complaint against me and threw me out of the building. And I feel my life is threatened. When now listen to this. I contacted I live in Almont. I contacted the Almont Police, and I told them I want to file a complaint against this police woman, and I've never been responded to. I also asked them that I want to file a complaint against Joseph Baker, the Adult Protective Services agent, that on November 27th, he wrote me an email stating, "I heard you need water. I can arrange to bring you water." And I've never heard from him ever since. I've sent evidence over and over again that this guy just disappeared, and I'm trying to file a gross negligence complaint against him, and they refuse to take my complaint.
Okay.
January 7th.
You
And
said
here's what they did to me there.
January, is that correct?
They know I have no legal transportation. I've asked for an emergency hearing, and I asked for transportation under reasonable ADA guidelines. I got to go through and find this. I asked them for reasonable transportation to any hearing, and I'm allowed that to according to ADA guidelines. That's a reasonable request that I've been denied ever since I've asked it, and I've shown that to the Department of Civil Rights, and he's ignored that too. I showed him that I'm supposed to complain to the Department of Civil Rights, and that's him. I sent him the brochure, and he ignored that too. And what they did is they know I have no transportation. They sent me a postal mail. I received it on Friday, the 4th, and the hearing was for Monday the 7th. And I contend that they had it planned that I would never show up because I couldn't do it. And I miraculously I got the notice. I got there, and when I got there, my intention was to discuss the issues that my email that I sent to my worker and her supervisor, that those were the issues that I wanted to discuss. And I said I will agree to a meeting if I can discuss these issues and be able to bring witness and be able to video record. When I got there, I got none of those, and it wasn't a hearing. It wasn't fair at all. It was a tribunal. I wasn't allowed to talk. I wasn't allowed to present any of my information. She didn't have the right information. I showed her that Lapeer DHHS is falsifying accounting. I showed her that DHHS shows that my income is double what I actually make. I showed her that, and she ignored it. So there's no way I can get a fair hearing in an internal kangaroo court.
Okay. Well, Richard, let me go ahead, and I just want to review with you what I've documented. As we've been talking here, because I want to make sure that I'm understanding your concerns accurately, and then I can.
Well, can I do this before I forget? Here's what I need you to do. And I asked the last lady, Dana. Darcy, I asked her you had to contact, her name is, her name is Mary Beth Sapala. She works for the Department, the Attorney General, but she's also the State of Michigan ADA coordinator. Now, I asked the lady the last time I called to make sure that she gets notice of this. Can you document that, please? Mm-hmm. No, just make sure that I'm asking you to make sure this gets to Mary Beth Sapala.
What I'm telling you is I can put that in the referral.
Well, that's the problem. That's why I didn't go anywhere. Nothing is going anywhere, and I present my evidence over and over. My problem is because I'm not an attorney, I'm not being given the right to defend myself, and I'm only being ignored until I die. It's cut and dried, and the issue is, ma'am, Lapeer County refuses to be responsible when they make a mistake, and what they'll do, they have to cover it up instead, and because I don't have an attorney, they're willing to kill me over it. Yes, ma'am, it's SEPPALA.
Spell Mary Beth's last name for me.
I've got her email address too.
Okay.
It's SEPPALA at michigan.gov.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So let me just.
It's very simple. They owe me. They put in a water heater that caused $15,000 worth of damage. I as the client, I fired them, and Lapeer DHHS sent them back in under the guise that they were going to install the water heater correctly. Okay.
So yeah, I understand, Richard. I need to review this information with you though, so that I know.
Please understand, ma'am. I'm very stressed out, and
okay. So.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I get it. I get it, but I can't help you.
I'll guarantee you it's not going to go anywhere. You want to bet me? I'll bet you my next Social Security check. I'll bet you that. You want to do that? Well, it's really
Okay, I can't play any kind of betting. Richard, I can't play any. Do you want me to get this sent to the supervisor? I can't play any betting games right now. Okay, I need to do my job, and my job.
Can somebody, because when I contacted the last 2 times, I asked somebody to contact me. How come no one contacts me?
Well, there's certain procedures that we have here, and if
you know how many blank letters I've got where it says where I've got the letters that state the same thing that don't tell me why. And here's the situation, ma'am. You have to understand, I'm being sabotaged. Adult Protective Services agent Elaine Stoutenburg told told you people that I am in no jeopardy because I have a grocery store right across the street. So every time I file a complaint, you guys close the case because it's saying I'm in no danger. The nearest grocery store that is over a mile away. I'm disabled. The last time I tried to get groceries from that grocery store, I rode a bike and I broke my collarbone in 4 places. I can't do it. She lied. Now that's sabotage. Now you have to.
Okay. So Richard, I understand. Richard, you need to let me do. I need to go through and get this information.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same information, and if you don't get it, if you're not getting it, if you're not getting all the information, it's not getting processed, man. That's the problem. If you take.
But you're the one that called.
I'm just going by. I'm trying to give you all the information because the stuff that I'm telling you doesn't seem to be enough. You have to understand, ma'am. I'm being murdered. I can't say it any clearer. When I can't get when the Almont Police won't take a distress call for 5 days, won't return my phone calls, when I send them emails sending my information that proving what my issues are, and I can't get them resolved, and I don't feel safe. The police are threatening. I go to the hearing and the sheriff throws me out and tells me we're watching. I feel threatened, ma'am. Who do I go to when I feel threatened against the police? And I'm not lying about it. Everything's documented. Call the Almont Police. Find out when the last time they heard from me and what the response was. Nothing. I had Friday just before the meeting, on the 7th, the Friday before that, I had 3 Dryden policemen come to my home, banging on the door with flashlights, looking in the windows, asking for some person that didn't live in my home. I don't know them. They said that they were looking for somebody that said that they were at this home. I have no idea who they were, what their purpose were. And when I wrote to the Almont Police and I said I don't feel comfortable, what were those people there for? They ignored my request to tell me what was going on. They are Almont Police. They should know when Dryden Police are in their jurisdiction. That's all I asked for. Who were they, and what were they there for? And Almont Police, Leo Hager ignored my request. Is that a reasonable request? That's the point, ma'am. All I'm trying to do, ma'am, I'm trying to get out as much information as possible, and I hope this is being documented, and I hope you understand I'm getting this message out to Gretchen Whitmer. One way or another, I have to get my issues out.
Okay.
Sure, no problem.
Richard, I need to either review this information and get it sent to the supervisor, or we just need to end the conversation because otherwise I can't get on to other calls and taking other information. Okay. So what the concern is that there's gross negligence going on. You're in a mobile home that's uninhabitable. There's no running water, and you don't have an ability to get any food. DHHS and the police know about this, and you feel like you're getting ignored. In January of 2017, DHHS did an improper installation of a water heater, which failed twice. You have
it caused $15,000 worth of damage.
Or way to defend your suit. I'm getting to that. Yep, I'm getting to that, Richard. Okay. You never took responsibility, obviously, for the installation because it wasn't your installation, and DHHS is not taking responsibility either. You are not being given the right to defend yourself. The water heater caused $15,000 in damage in your home, and you've been without running water ever since. You've attempted to represent yourself. You filed a claim with civil rights a year and a half ago, and you asked a civil rights worker to file a suit against DHHS to compensate you. However, they refused to do that, and now you've since been stuck, obviously, with the $15,000 in damage. You had a hearing on January 7th. Where you feel like the judge, it sounds like the judge refused all of your witnesses.
Remote.
You have obviously 3 witnesses,
right.
and you brought 32 people to the hearing remotely, online, including a master plumber. However, they refused all of your witnesses and refused to allow you to give any evidence, denied all your requests for compensation. You obviously were upset by this and walked, as you were walking into the lobby, a sheriff deputy followed you and told you to go home and said that the judge had filed a complaint.
You got to say it exactly. She said, I was sitting there and I was sick to my stomach, and she said, get up, get out, and go home. We're watching you. I will need you to write that down exactly like that. And what I want to do is
So get up.
And I want to file a complaint against that officer.
Get out and go home. We're watching you. Right?
And the Almont Police are ignoring my request.
Okay. So ignoring. Okay, so you were sitting there, you were sick to your stomach, and the deputy came up to you and said, get up, get out, and go home, we're watching you, and you want to file a complaint against that deputy
since the 17th.
Currently ignoring your request to do so.
No, I wrote to the Almont Police on the 17th.
Was the hearing on the 7th?
I asked them to file, I said, I want to come down and file a complaint,
Gotcha.
And if you're not going to take my complaint, I want to file a complaint against you. And I haven't heard from them since.
Gotcha. Okay. You said that you also wanted to file a complaint against Joe Baker, who wrote an email saying that he had heard that you needed water and that you can arrange
since November 27th.
However, you have not heard from him since, and you since November 27th. And
I also had
him as well.
Dave Lynch, a supervisor of Adult Protective Services, come to my home on the 17th. Came twice. He came on the 17th, and I asked him to file complaints against Joseph Baker, and he ignored me. I asked Laura Moore, the Almont Police, to file a complaint against Joseph Baker, and she ignored me. When David Lynch came to my home 2 days later to do an inspection of my home, I showed them everything about my home, that they were welcome to look in, under, all around, do an inspection and figure out what was going on and get me out of the home. And all he did was he wouldn't discuss any of my issues, wouldn't discuss their liability, and all he said is, the best I can do is give you $1,000 to get you out of here. And when I Oh, wait a minute, let me finish the story. When I got upset and he was going to leave, he said, look, it's the best I can do. I'm going to leave you with some brochures, which I've had forever. And when I got upset, the Almont policeman went for his weapon, and the three men that were that came in my home ran out of my house. When I chased them out, screaming out the door, did you bring me water? I need water. They ran out the door, and that's the last I've seen of them. And I made a video of it too. It was horrible. And I'm going to put it on social media if I can't get resolved, because I can't represent myself, and the state of Michigan is purposely murdering people that can't afford attorneys. And the proof that I've called 3 times in the last 2 weeks and no one's ever called back is proof, ma'am. And it's not you. It's not you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yep. So I just need to review a few policy questions. I did want you to know that I did make a note that you are asking that Mary Beth Sapala be contacted and notified of this complaint and this referral. And I documented that email address. Again, like I said, I can't guarantee that will happen, but I will document that that's been requested, okay? So let me run through a few policy questions with you a second here, Richard, so that we can get this submitted to the supervisor as soon as possible, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What's your current location? Are you home right now?
Can I make a condition? I refuse to open my doors to any government employees that want entrance to my home without witnesses and the ability to record. And that's every time that people have come to my home, I've not given them access to my home. I have that reasonable right. Now, another thing is they're going to tell you that I'm being provided with food, and I'm going to tell you, and you need to document this, Paul Walker, the Lapeer Department, Health Department, they were serving Meals on Wheels that were open packages because they were too cheap to fix the sealing machine. And this went on for a few weeks, and I got sick on one of the meals, and I finally, on April 3rd, I gave my worker a letter to Paul Walker, and I said, I'm not going to eat contaminated food because it's because of your packaging. I said, fix the machine and send me an email or write to me and let me know when you do it, because I'm not going to get sick again. And I haven't heard from him since April 3rd. And when I started complaining, what they do is they keep saying that I'm refusing food, and the truth is Paul Walker was serving people tainted food, and instead of admitting it, he's just covering it all up, and everything's being covered up. When they're going to say that I'm being offered food and I'm refused, and that's not the truth, and you need to note that. And he also refuses to bring me water, and he also refuses
I will note that
the
as
fact that I sent him a letter stating that I'm being murdered, and instead of reporting it to anybody, he sent me an email stating that's not my job.
All right, I will make a note of those concerns.
Okay.
Let me just continue with these policy questions so that we can get this information submitted, okay? Do you have any Native American heritage or live on a reservation or trust land?
I haven't had access to my
and
primary
who's your
doctor since 2016, when I lost my transportation to my doctors.
Okay. All right. And then is there anybody else that you would like to note that we could contact? Anybody's
Officer Leo
you'd like
Hagar
us to contact regarding
of the
what your
Almont
concerns
Police.
are?
Yeah, he's the one that hasn't
Release
returned my
Officer
email
Hagar.
since the 17th and refuses to take my complaints. The Almont Police.
What's his phone number?
I might. Hold on.
Do you have a phone number for him?
I just got to figure out how to get to it on my computer.
That's okay.
Let me just Google it. You don't have their phone number? Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, but he knows all about it, and he's
I
probably,
can look it up as well.
that's what's really frustrating, because he's probably one of the most honest policemen I know, and when he's ignoring me, something's wrong. And that's why I have no idea what level the government's falling apart, because that's what's happening. All they'd have to do is fix my house, and everything would be fine. But they're going to spend $100,000 ignoring me until I die, rather than spending $15,000 to fix my house and let me live.
Okay. All right, and Richard, what is...
Yes, ma'am, there is. No, not weapons. This house is uninhabitable. My floors are falling in. I can't use my kitchen because my kitchen floor is all falling apart. And David Lynch saw this place. He said the place is uninhabitable, and he said that when he came to my home on the 19th. Here we are a month later, and I still have they refuse to bring me water. What am I supposed to do? I have no transportation. I am stuck. The state of Michigan in 2016, ma'am. The only reason that I went to DHHS in the first place is in 2016 I applied for DHHS assistance after having problems trying to get my driver's license. I had a job offer, I had a buyer for my home, and I had a chance to move to a warm climate on doctor's orders. In the meantime, the state of Michigan made it so impossible to try to work to survive and get my license that in the meantime I went to DHHS. They made one transaction. They supplied a water heater that destroyed my home for $15,000, and they gave me $330 worth of food stamps. They set me up and destroyed my life and are leaving me to death, and I've got no way to defend myself, and everybody's just ignoring me until I die.
Okay.
Caucasian.
Richard, what's your race?
Divorced.
And your marital status?
No, ma'am.
Are you a military veteran? Okay. All right, Richard, so I'm going to get this information processed, and I'm going to get it
Can
sent
I
to
tell you
supervisors
something? I'll guarantee you, I'll take my Social Security, and I guarantee it's not going to happen, ma'am. And you know what? That's why, ma'am.
Okay, yeah.
Do you have to understand? I have to protect.
You know, I don't have control over that. You know, you're the one that made the call. You're saying that you know it's not going to get assigned.
I know and I made the complaint. I've made the complaint for the last 3 months, ma'am, and that's what's proved it.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this information processed, and I'm going to get it sent to the supervisor for their review. I need to end this conversation.
When would I hear When would I hear in 72 hours? Because I'll call back by tomorrow, and I'm going to call you back every day. And you got to figure out economically figure it out. How much would it take to fix my house? $15,000. That's all it takes. Fix my house. That's all I need to do.
That's not my responsibility at this point in time to figure those things out.
How about having somebody bring me some water?
We'll get this sent to the supervisor.
I need water. That's a. Okay, thank you. You have yourself a good day.
I'm going to let you go now. Okay.
God bless you.
All right. Yep. Have a good day. Bye. You too.
Bye.
Did you hear that?
Wasn't that bizarre?